Hello, everybody, and welcome to another installment of Mystery Unsolved. I'm your host, Justin Bienvenu. So, if you saw the post statuses on Twitter or Facebook, then you would know that I told you to shine up your spurs, dust your cowboy hats off, because we are going to Tombstone. So, see my TV behind me. I was actually getting ready to cast a nice, you know, cowboy western Tombstone background, but unfortunately my tablet didn't want to cooperate, so it's fine. With that being said, we're going to Tombstone. But Justin, why Tombstone? Tombstone's not a mystery. There's no mystery behind Tombstone. There's nothing unsolved. That's where you're wrong. Because many cowboys, many outlaws, many people in general were gunned down in Tombstone, Arizona as a part of the Wild West. And it's because of this that many are still spirits, and their spirits still haunt the city of Tombstone. And that's pretty much what we're going to be looking into today, the hauntings of Tombstone, Arizona. So, without further ado, you know the deal. Got the trusty notebook here. I am by no means a professional, so if you see me looking down, I am reading my notes. I could do this. You know what? Yeah, let's go with that. Until this isn't weird. Oh, it's slanting. Hold on. All right, well, let's go with the flow, I suppose. All right. Tombstone, Arizona. Tombstone, of course, as many people know, is known for the Wild West back in the day. It's had many movies, many betrayals, and there's a lot of history behind it. Naturally, when anybody thinks the Wild West, the first city they think of, Tombstone, Tombstone, Arizona. Many movies, like I said, many betrayals, many people have gone through Tombstone, but many people never made it out, which is kind of unfortunate. But then again, when you live when you're about that Wild West life, it comes with the territory. Truth and consequences, right? All right. So, what about Tombstone now compared to the past? Well, now it's pretty much like a tourist city. Why wouldn't it be, right? It is one of the most haunted cities associated with the Wild West. Given what I just told you, it's no wonder. It is no wonder. As you will come to find out through all the places that I list, you will find that there's probably not a spot in Tombstone that you can't walk where you might be told, like, hey, that place is haunted. Or, hey, people see ghosts over there. Or, hey, something went down over there. So, yeah. Many ghost tours are held annually during the day at Tombstone. Now, I imagine this was pre-pandemic because obviously now you can't have a ghost tour. That would be crazy. I'm sure the ghosts are still there because they don't know we're in a pandemic. God bless them. Oh, God bless their haunted souls. All right, so where are we going first in Tombstone? Well, we're going to a place called the Birdcage Theater. Perhaps you've heard of it. Personally, it's one of my favorite places in all of the Wild West. I've seen I've seen uh, I've seen it in many documentaries. I've seen it in many ghost hunting shows, and it's just a really cool place. Now it's like a museum, and no matter what ghost hunting show you watch, these people find anybody, ghost hunters, ghost adventures, whoever else, right? Those are the main two. Anybody who goes there, they find something every time, and I totally believe it because, like, it was during the Wild West. Like, you'll see what I mean. So the Birdcage Theater is a 20 in the Birdcage Theater, 26 people died inside. I'm doing that gif with a guy that goes blinks his eyes. Like 26 people died inside. That's wow. Wow. It was a former theater, saloon, brothel, and gambling parlor. That's pretty much every single place associated with the Wild West. A woman's heart was chiseled from her chest inside the Birdcage Theater. I've heard of dying, but like that's a whole new level right there. They didn't gun her down in cold blood, cowboy style. Oh no. I'm sorry, I just totally threw a blank there. They chiseled out her heart out of her chest. Like who who thinks of that? That's crazy. And that happened inside. Also, the ghost of Margarita. You know who Margarita is? I'll give you a hint. She's the one whose heart was chiseled out of her chest. If there's anyone haunting this place, it's dear old Margarita. You can't blame her. She's probably wandering the poor birdcage there looking for her heart. God, just the thought of that. Wow. There's also a woman in white that is said to haunt, not Margarita, but another woman in white who is said to haunt her. Now, how many times have you heard that cliche? The woman in white, the lady in white. So many places have a lady in white or a woman in white. In the 1980s, a man was strangled during a seance. So in the 80s, this man, excuse me, was performing a seance inside the Birdcage Theater. And while this was happening, one of the other people that was a part of the seance began to, like, I guess he went into a trance, or he was being possessed by a spirit, and he then showed the guy that was holding the seance. Of course, everybody stopped him. He was okay, but that must have been freaky. So, as you can see, this is why I love the Birdcage Theater, because so much stuff happened there, and it's just the history, the hauntings, and it's just all just madness, and I love it. Do I think the Birdcage Theater is haunted? You're darn right I do. I believe all these places are haunted. Let's just get that out of the way, okay? I believe all these places are 100% haunted. The next place we're going to is the Boot Hill Graveyard. That's a cool name for a graveyard, right? You want to know why it's called Boot Hill Graveyard? Because it's for those who were buried with their boots on. Clever, right? I wish I'd thought of that. I wish I were that good to come up with a title for something like that. The things said to be in Boot Hill Graveyard are, well, first of all, before I get into what's in there, you kind of already have an idea. We're in Tombstone. This is Tombstone's essential cemetery, graveyard. Who isn't in there? Really, right? The things that are said to have happened, that do happen in Boot Hill Graveyard: spirit photography. Many people claim that they take pictures, and when they look at the pictures, they see orbs, they see figures, they see mists. Um, Several women have claimed that when they took pictures in the cemetery, there's a spirit who likes of a man who likes to be behind women inside in the picture. So that's pretty creepy. Whispers from an unmarked grave. Could just be the wind, but if many people are claiming it, who am I to judge? The ghost of China Mary. So China Mary was a lady of the night, if you will. The red light district of Tombstone. It existed. It existed. So she was I would say a high society, respectable saloon girl, if you will. But she died, I believe, in 1908, and it said that she still roams the streets, and she also roams the graveyard of Tombstone. So there's that. And then, last but certainly not least, the ghost of Billy Clanton. Billy Clanton was one of the members of the Clanton gang there that was gunned down during the OK Corral, the infamous uh, gunfight of the OK Corral with Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp, Virgil Earp, the Earps, and Holliday against the Clantons and the McCurdy's. It's in It's said that the ghost of Billy Clanton haunts Boot Hill Graveyard, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Leading off with Billy Clanton, we're going back. We're going to the OK Corral. So if anybody knows anything about Tombstone, they know the OK Corral. The funny part is, what you probably don't know, the gunfight didn't take place at the OK Corral. Isn't that just so ironic? It's kind of like Jesus not being born on Christmas and the Declaration of Independence not being signed on July 4th. Both true, by the way. But yes, the OK Corral, the gunfight at the OK Corral never took place on the OK Corral. I believe it took place next to it. But they needed like a mark stone of like, where did this place happen? It happened on a dirt street next to the OK Corral. No, that's not good enough. Just say it took place at the OK Corral. But it didn't. It did. Okay? All right. So what is said to be haunting the infamous livery? Well, ghosts of cowboys and lawmen. Well, there's a surprise. It's worth noting, however, that it didn't actually specifically say that any of the Earps, Doc Holliday, or the Clantons haunted the OK Corral, but it just said cowboys and lawmen. Could it be them? I mean, perhaps if they were. If let's put it this way, the McCurdy's and the Clintons that were gunned down there, I'm sure a couple of them. I'm sure a couple of them haunt the OK Corral. Also, poltergeists are said to be seen on the OK Corral. That's interesting. And finally, Justice Jim Burnett he is a big fixture at the OK Corral. Apparently, he got into a fight with a man named William Green, and they got into a duel, I believe, and William Green just shot him square in the head, dead. And there's a backstory to Jim Burnett. He wasn't a good guy. His name was Justice Jim Burnett, but he didn't sound like he was doing justice very good. Um, so when William Green shot him, and a lot of people to this day claim they see Justice Jim Burnett over by the infamous OK Corral. Let us now travel a little bit down the street and go to Big Nose Kate's Saloon, named after the infamous girlfriend of Doc Holliday, Kate Elder, nicknamed Big Nose Kate, and we get Big Nose Kate's Saloon. However, like the OK Corral, like the gunfight never took place at the OK Corral, and fun fact, Kate Elder, Big Nose Kate, never stepped foot in Big Nose Kate's Saloon. There's a word for that, right? Not just irony. Um, Big Nose Kate actually stayed at the Crystal Palace Saloon, which we will be talking about after this. But the Big Nose Kate Saloon is said to have paranormal activity, such as the following. Talking after hours. Many people have claimed that long after the place is closed up, they're closing up shop and they hear people still talking throughout the saloon. Silverware is tossed. That's nice. I mean, a spoon, okay. But a knife and a fork, like, hey now, like. And then, of course, lights are said to go on and off. That's pretty spooky right there. Phantom cowboys on. Oh, phantom cowboys are said to be seen on the staircase. Now, that. Even though I would expect, like, I would 100% expect to see a cowboy standing on like a ghost cowboy standing on a staircase, but it would still creep me out, just because like it would probably be after hours. I know full well that I'm the only person in the building, and I just look over and there's a guy with his hat on. And he's just kind of like, "How you doing?" And it would creep me out. um, the knocking over. Oh yeah, phantom cowboys are also said to knock over cases of beer. Well, I mean, if they did that in life, then why not do it and continue to do it in death, right? Although they're letting good beer go to waste, so like, what's the deal there? Um, Also, the Swampers haunted tunnels. Now, there was a guy named the Swamper. Who was the swamper? He was a handyman on the premises of the saloon, and he was also a well-known treasure hunter. It is said that he died under mysterious circumstances and his treasure was never found. However, the places that he went to look for this treasure are now said to be haunted and are now known as the Swamper's Haunted Tunnels. Good backstory there. Um, but yeah, he's basically just your everyday handyman, and apparently in his spare time he was a treasure hunter. And word actually did get around that he loved to look for treasure, and I guess people tried to look for the treasure and find it. So I totally stuttered just then. So people tried to find the treasure before he did, but then he passed, and people were like, "Well, are we just? Is this just a goose chase? Like, what are we looking for? Like, did he really have treasure?" To this day, we don't know. Next, we're going to the Crystal Palace Saloon, and this is the place where Kate Elder spent most of her time and lived. And the only thing I have on this, given what I just told you, is that Big Nose Kate Elder is said to haunt the place. Because why wouldn't she? This was her establishment. So if anybody ever tells you that, like, oh, I saw Big Nose Kate Elder haunting the Big Nose Kate Saloon, you know they're full of crap because she didn't stay there. And by then, it was called the Grand Hotel. Big Nose Kate Saloon was called the Grand Hotel when she was alive. So, yeah. So the only haunting at the Crystal Palace Saloon is said to be Big Nose Kate Elder. And the other three haunted places, I didn't actually get into details on this. I wanted to go to the ones I've heard of. But the other three places that are said to be haunted in Tombstone are the Beaufort House. I don't want to mispronounce this, but I probably will. Schiefelin Hall and the Bordillo B&B. Well, if there is a place that's got to be haunted, I would definitely expect it to be a Bordillo in Tombstone. Well, that concludes our video, but I guess I will close this by saying the following. Like I said, I 100% believe that all these places are haunted because I definitely think Tombstone is haunted. How couldn't it be? You had good guys dying, you had bad guys dying, and you had people in between dying too. So I know this wasn't exactly a mystery, but I thought it was a nice, cool haunting. The many hauntings and ghost stories to tell, so a little something different, but it kind of mixes into Mystery Unsolved. But hopefully you all enjoy it. Tune in next week as I think I will be continuing this series on with the Vulture Mine. I believe that's also got a little bit of Western vibe, but stay tuned for that. So again, this has been Mystery Unsolved Tombstone edition, I suppose we can call it that. So again, for those who enjoy, if you're watching this on the playback or you watch this now over on YouTube, which is probably nobody, but if you watch this on YouTube, please feel free to like the video and subscribe. I've always wanted to say that. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.